My name is Nick Olson. I'm a licensed professional counselor at American Behavioral Clinics. I work out of the Layton office, and I work with adults 18 or over for general mental health issues like depression, anxiety, trauma, OCD, issues with marriage, relationships, career changes, things like that. I got my bachelor's in psychology at Loyola University Chicago, and then I got my master's in clinical psychology at Cardinal Stritch University. My background is in athletics. I was an athlete my whole life, and for the longest time I wanted to be a coach. And when I started making some pivotal changes in my life, I started my career in social work, working with at-risk youths in Racine, for behavioral issues or just being expelled from their home school. And that's when I really started to fall in love and enjoy working with people. And I learned that I didn't want to do just social work. I wanted to be working directly with these populations. And so at that point, I decided that I needed to go back to school and start my career in therapy. The treatment approach that I use is acceptance and commitment therapy, which is a branch of cognitive behavioral therapy. It's centered on the idea that suffering comes from fighting with internal experiences that are unwanted or undesirable. And as humans, we experience a complex and multitude of emotions and sensations and thoughts that are largely uncontrolled. And when we get into fights with those internal sensations and thoughts and feelings, we lose track of what's meaningful in our life. And so the approach that I use is making more concerted effort and intention to the meaningful aspects of our life, the things that give us enjoyment, that are fulfilling and satisfying, that bring us closer to that idealized version of ourselves. A large part of my work is identifying values, and not just like virtues of like kindness and generosity, which are important aspects of a person's life, but also what is meaningful, the goals and accomplishments that they want to achieve, but also the ways in which they want to live, the roles that they play, and learning how to navigate those spaces in ways that serve them, and not just falling into old repeated patterns that end up causing other issues, but making choices that align with what they care about: family, their work, recreation, leisure, spirituality. We should be giving more energy and effort and time to those things that bring us meaning, and less time trying to just avoid the internal experiences that we don't want to have. A big piece of the approach that I use is practicing observation skills, which is understanding what it is in the moment that we're dealing with. What are we feeling? What is our body feeling? What are we thinking about? And how that ends up kind of guiding us to making choices that either align with what we care about or don't. And so homework ends up becoming practicing skills in the moment. What are we dealing with? What are you going through? Not necessarily why, but understanding the process of it. The people who I work with can expect an open and non-judgmental environment to explore what they're challenged with. And it can be, we can explore that in a multitude of ways, but we want to be honest with it. And having a place that has no connection to their outside life, and they don't have the judgment from friends or family, there aren't any expectations, that we can honestly sit and talk about past experiences, memories, worries, the future, the past, anything that ends up guiding us into making decisions. And so what we can expect is honest conversations about your life, what you want and what you deal with. Like, we all have the tools to be able to solve our own problems, and that's what this space ends up being, is a place for someone to use a tool to help themselves. I don't necessarily do anything magical. I just provide a space for this person to work themselves into their solution. What surprised me about therapy was actually how much I can gain from the people I work with, because one, not only do I see myself in a lot of my clients, that they deal with issues and challenges that I too deal with, but also that so many people across culture, race, gender, deal with very similar things. And it doesn't really matter how objectively great your life may seem to other people. that suffering is relative, and that what anyone can be dealing with can be something that another person is dealing with that seems completely different on the outside.